Yeah, that body's a blessing, girl. I ain't tryna pressure her, but she messed with the temperature. Heart wrote the song, but I am the messenger.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Geezy, and you are tuned into Geez 954. As promised, I am coming to you guys with a detailed breakdown of Voldo's buffs and/or nerfs from the 1.1 patch that just came out. So we're going to see exactly how good he is, how bad he is. I tested him out in a couple of online ranked plays, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, for all you Voldo mains or people who like Voldo, man, things are looking a little bit dicey. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, let's go ahead and get on into it. The first thing it says right here: Voldo's Mantis Crawl is good for rushing down opponents when Voldo's feet are facing them, and makes for good mix-ups to open up the opponent's guard when his head is facing them. We made some adjustments to further accentuate these properties. However, repeated use of the head-facing Mantis Crawl proved to be difficult to deal with, so we weakened some of the offensive aspects related to the move. On the other hand, during the Mantis Crawl with feet towards the opponent, the dash has been strengthened, making the stance easier to attack with. Additionally, Voldo's backward movement speed was extremely fast when facing away from the opponent, making it difficult for some characters to deal with. In order to give players options other than just backing away from him, we reduced Voldo's backward movement speed. In addition to these adjustments, we've also made Voldo easier to play by strengthening the attacks he can perform when facing forward at close range after guarding an opponent's attack. So basically, what does that mean? When they're talking about Mantis Crawl, they're talking about this right here. They're talking about BK simultaneously. What they were saying is that head facing towards the opponent was basically his meat and potatoes for his combos. As you can see now, it transitions you to a different, you guys switch sides. Before, it used to be like a guaranteed lethal hit on standing guard and when the opponent is on the ground. But now it flips you over. For this, when feet are towards, I'm pretty sure it gives you a crush on counter, but more testing is needed for that. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Guard impact. Change the move's animation to fix an issue in which the move will not make contact with an opponent's attack due to character stance, resulting in no deflection taking place. So that's his both guard encounters, or both guard impacts right there. And as a matter of fact, remember, it used to be his head, but now it's just his hands for his blind stance. Mantis Crawl. Adjusting the animation when shifting to this stance. So that's just your basic going in there, depending on, whichever transition you're doing. Death roll. Fix an issue which inputs made in advance did not register when shifting to this move from certain techniques. Death roll, if I'm not mistaken, is, if I remember how you do it. Oh, wait. Basically, it's the one where he rolls on the ground. I can't never remember how to do it off the top of my head, because, or it may have changed completely, because I'm pretty sure it was down. Let's go to the move list. I'm pretty sure it was just down and once you're in the blind stance, along with BK. You know what? Screw it. You guys know what it is. Alright, let's continue. Alright. BBB. Fixed an issue with the special inputs will cause the character to become slow. So that's just your standard BBB combo. They cleaned that up. And as well as your diagonal AB. Alright. What else we got? Facing away BK. Adjusted the input window to make the move easier to perform. Actually, all instances of BK. So that would be this, that one, and that one. Alright. While crouching, AB and AB held fixed an issue with ring out behavior was exhibiting after the attack, even when the battle was still ongoing. So that's your crouching right there. It made it so you don't ring yourself out after the match is already done. Okay. Forward A and A held. Increase the length of the stun inflicted on the first hit and when the attack is guarded. Increase the amount of guard stamina on the second hit is reduced. So they call that a buff. So basically they made that easier to use. Okay. Down BB. Sped up the first attack starter by 2 frames. That's that move right there. Increase the length of the stun inflicted on the first if the first hit is guarded. Enlarge the hitbox. Stabilize the timing at which the attack makes contact depending on the distance. So usually what you want to do is, like, let's say somebody, like, let's say you do get a sidestep and you want to get a combo off of that. Normally what you would do is up or down B, then go straight to down BB, and that'll set you up for a combo, either a back throw, a regular throw, or, you know, whatever else you want to do. And so basically what they're saying is they just sped that up and made the hitbox bigger so you can catch people who may be further away. See, you can do it from a pretty good distance away. Now you couldn't really catch them. Yeah, they really get 50. So that's a buff. Alright, let's go. Let's keep going. Alright, dashing forward, the diagonal up and diagonal down. While soul charged, so that's your elbow rush. Enlarge the lower hitbox to make it easier to use as a counterattack against attacks performed in low stances. So let me just get you out of here. So I have a feeling what they're talking about with that is when you're soul charged and you do your BB right there. Yeah, I see what they're talking about. They're making it so if you're crouched, because usually if you do a low attack or if you're just getting up off the ground, it could be very hard to hit with this. And SC5, it used to still connect with characters that were on the ground. But this one, it seems if they're attacking low, then you'll still be able to connect with that. So that's good. That's a buff. And for your up B or down B, increase the attack tracking against opponents who missed an attack. So that's the one that I just showed you right there. They increase the tracking on this one so you can catch people better with that one. That's good. So far everything's looking not too bad. Okay. This is your super right here. Increase the base damage of the super when facing forward and reduce the damage when facing away. Now, how do I feel about that? The super was pretty strong from the back, because if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the fastest supers to come out with when you're in your blind stance. when you're in your forward stance, it takes like maybe a couple of frames longer because you have to turn around to do it. So I'm not gonna lie, I would use the hell out of the blind stance one, not even really using the facing one. So with them buffing the facing one and nerfing the blind stance one, I could get down with that. I'm not really mad at that. Alright, forward AB held. Reduce the base damage and added scaling to the move's combo damage. This was done due to lethal hits having dealt more damage than expected. Increase the length of the stun inflicted when hit or guarded. Reduce the distance between the character and the opponent when the move hits or is guarded. So that's this move right here. Forward and AB, holding down AB. That's a good combo starter. A good combo ender. Well, not a good starter, a good ender. So it looks like they were having some problems with the lethal hit on it. It's like they buffed and nerfed it at the same time. That's weird. Okay, here we go. Talking about the Mantis Crawl. Mantis Crawl with your feet facing the opponent. Can now be cancelled by Mantis Crawl AB and during Mantis Crawl BK at any time. This move was originally designed to function differently when performed at close and long ranges. As such, the hit animation has been changed and an effect was added, so it's easier to tell when the range version has been performed. The distance restriction for the range version has been relaxed, making it easier to perform. The timing for shifting from Mantis Crawl after an attack was changed to mirror Mantis Crawl from with head towards opponent when dashing. Adjusted tracking to make it easier to evade with an 8-way run. Decrease the amount of guard stamina the attack reduces. So they say that there's a difference between when you use it at short range and when you use it at long range. Okay, well, are they talking about the little dust clouds? Because if that's what they're talking about, well, you see how you can get a counter off that. Wait, hold on. From farther away, but you can't get that up close. See, I guess so. They're trying to relieve the pressure that Voldo players would give other players when you're in your Mantis Crawl. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, as a Voldo main, it got pretty cheap sometimes. It really did. So I'll give that one a Project Soul. You guys were right. Okay, character movement speed. Slow the speed at which the character moves backwards while facing away. The adjustment was implemented due to an extreme advantage against other players. So basically, Voldo used to be able to moonwalk all over dudes when he was in his blind stance, but they just shortened that. Not shortened it, but they adjusted his walking speed when he's backwards. So, okay. During Mantis Crawl with head towards an opponent, A. Change the size of the motion when deflecting with reversal edge to small. I know what they're talking about. That's normally what would happen is if somebody gets a reversal edge on you and you're in your Mantis Crawl, if you switch right there with A, horizontal A, usually you'll end up like right about here. And unless you're like Nightmare, Songmin, or somebody with a really long weapon, then they're going to miss the reversal edge. That's how it used to be. And there was a guaranteed way to get out of a reversal edge. And as a matter of fact, you can hit them because they'll whiff that reversal edge right there, and you can hit them with B, and then you can start a combo. So they've made the hitbox smaller, and I see they reduced the distance on that. So that's a nerf, but one that probably needed to happen. Alright. During Mantis Crawl with feet towards the opponent, K. And during Mantis Crawl with head towards the opponent, K. Reduce the size of the horizontal hitbox. This adjustment was made so it would be easier to evade the attack by moving sideways. The attack's tracking has decreased when connected, increasing the stability of the direction of the character to the opponent. So for all you Voldo mains who like to spam this right here, you can't do it. It used to be way faster than that, but you can't do it like that anymore, and it looks like they reduced the tracking on it so you can sidestep it easier. They are almost everything about Mantis Crawl, guys. I mean, it was a very, probably one of the best special stances in the game, you know, before this patch. It's still pretty strong. You just adjust accordingly, I'm gonna say that. During Mantis Crawl BK, and during Mantis Crawl while soul charged in BK, made the attack unusable as a guard crush, fixed an issue in which guard impact worked against low attacks contrary to the move list description. This fix was made because although the guard impact was changed to no longer work against horizontals in 1.10, the move's ability to deflect vertical low attacks remained. Fix an issue in which the time that a guard impact was possible could be extended by holding the command. So they're talking about this right here, that you would usually use if you rush in, whether you're head first or feet first. If your attack either whiffed or it didn't connect, you would just pull out your guard break right there, and usually you could get a guard crush off of it. But it looks like in the patch 1.10, they said that okay, you could use horizontals, but it looks like it still wasn't fixed because you could use low verticals, but now you can't even do that. So I guess mid verticals and I don't know, low horizontals maybe, or maybe no horizontals at all. But either way, your BK and Mantis Crawl not as strong as it used to be. Definitely a nerf. This is the big one. During Mantis Crawl with head towards opponent, change Mantis Crawl AB and Mantis Crawl BK so that they can no longer be used as cancels. This move was originally designed to function differently when performed at close and long ranges. As such, an effect was added so it's easier to tell when the range... Change the hit animation so that hitting at close range will cause the character and the opponent to switch places. Excludes lethal hits. Change the behavior when hitting a downed opponent so the character and the opponent will switch places. Adjusted tracking to make it easier to evade with the 8-way run. Decrease the amount of guard stamina the attack reduces. So, like I was telling you at the beginning of the video, that used to be basically your meat and potatoes of your combos while you were in Mantis Crawl with your head facing towards them. Now it switches places, but you still can get lethal hits. I'm not quite sure how it works anymore. I'm pretty sure if you're far enough away and the opponent is down, if you rush in and you can get a lethal hit, and you can get maybe a lethal hit off of a counter. But other than that, if it doesn't work, you don't do it that way, then you're just gonna switch spots with your opponent, and it kind of makes it kind of difficult because after this, as you can see, the switching of it makes it so they're in a position to where it's hard to do any follow-up. I mean, and they decrease the time in between when you can rush a second time in your Mantis Crawl. So even if you try and do another rush right there, you could probably get away with one, but your opponent will probably be expecting another one, and so they'll be ready to punish you. So I'm still working out exactly what to do with that, but that is basically it for all of Voldo's changes. Some of them were good, most of them were bad, especially to his special stance, Mantis Crawl. But like I said, if you look at it as a whole, Voldo's Mantis Crawl was pretty fucking strong. It really was. I don't want to say it was broken, but you know, Obviously, I don't make the game, so there you go. But anyways, I'm gonna end the video right here. Post in the comments if you guys, how you guys are feeling so far now that you've had time to try out your characters. Are you excited or pissed the fuck off about these changes? How do you feel about it? Do you feel that Project Soul did a good thing? Me myself, you know what? Changes are better than no changes. I'm gonna put it like that. At least they're doing something. I'd rather them do something bad than nothing at all. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm gonna leave it right there. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.